State of the Union with John King, CNN Sunday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
You believe the American people need greater transparency, greater clarity about how much this is costing them. So you've proposed something, along with several of your colleagues, the Share the Sacrifice Act of 2010. I want to show some of the details of it. Couples earning up to $150,000 will see a 1% tax increase. Your proposal would exempt servicemen and women and their families who served in Iraq and Afghanistan since 2001, and it would exempt families who've lost an immediate relative in the war. So if you make $150,000 or more, you would pay 1%, and then you would escalate up. If you make $250,000, you'd pay more, and so on up the scale, correct?
Yes, and my point and our point is simply that in this war, we have not had any sense of shared sacrifice. The only people being asked to sacrifice are military families. They've had to go to the well again and again and again, and yet everybody else in society, they're essentially told to go shopping by the previous president. I just think that if this war is important enough to engage in long term, it's important enough to pay for. We're told by people like General Petraeus that we need to be prepared to commit 8 to 10 years. First of all, I don't think that's sustainable. But if you're going to do that, at least you ought to pay for it so it doesn't destroy every other effort that we need to make to rebuild our own economy.
The chairman of the House Appropriations Committee can do a lot, but to pass that proposal, you need the support of the Speaker. What does she say?
I have no idea where anyone in the leadership will stand except John Larson, who is a co-sponsor of this proposal. So is Jack Murtha, the chairman of the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. So are a number of other people, Chairman Frank from the Banking Committee, and my impression is that Charlie Rangel, the Ways and Means Committee chair, is also interested in the idea.
Has anyone in the leadership or anyone at the White House asked you, Mr. Chairman, we understand your point, but we don't want to be talking about taxes heading into the midterm election campaign where we're already talking about taxes in the health care debate?
No, I think people understand where we're coming from, and I think people understand that we're doing this because we believe it's the right thing to do on the merits. I'm very dubious about this whole effort in Afghanistan and Pakistan, but if we're going to do it, we shouldn't do it in a way which will destroy every other initiative that we have to rebuild our own economy.
There was talk during the final years of the Bush administration, when Democrats came back into power, of trying to block him. Will you go so far with a Democratic president, or are you more deferential because of the Democrat in the White House where you can say, I oppose it, I think it's a bad idea, I think we should do this to pay for it, but would you try to get in front of the train?
I owe it to any president to listen to what he has to say before I say what I'm going to do. The important thing is not what Dave Obey's going to do. The important thing is what the country's going to do long term.